It's looking pretty good down there at the beach.
Thank you.
Yeah. Crank it all.
Did you get down and walk around a little bit?
I have.
Yeah.
I've been down, my morning jaunt, I get a cup of coffee and at some point I usually swing by down there.
Good. Yeah, he's doing great work.
Yep.
I don't know if you saw he planted.
Yeah.
Plantings in.
I saw, what are those gonna be, the planning?
One of them's thyme.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We tried to get stuff that was low lying.
It's not gonna be this, the road, sea road anymore.
Right.
They won't let us.
Yeah, the DOT has, they're invasive, highly
Yes.
invasive.
Yeah.
Even though they've been here forever.
Yep.
They'll call them, I don't wanna sound like I got a green thumb, it's like Rosa rugosas.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Right.
Yeah, they won't let us replant them.
Oh,
Yeah.
So,
Which is okay, because we occasionally would get those calls of, I selling the books, you gotta get them all over
Hmm.
It can be nasty, yeah.
yeah, he's doing a great job though.
Yep.
It's the first time I've ever done it with a curve.
That gets the first half done, then it's the
Right. Yeah,
next half.
yeah.
Hi, Robin. Hi.
Lots of changes, and moving parts, getting going, so.
That one rock was pretty darn big.
Down by the bathroom building?
Yeah, out in
Yeah.
front. That one monster. They're saying they're gonna try to break it too.
A little bit.
They were digging today over towards the parking area.
Yeah.
They went down 4
At
feet
least
in front of
30
the
seconds.
wall. That's how much sand has come in there since that wall was built.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Unbelievable.
Don't say anything bad about me.
Spread it out, spread that sand all out.
Sell it.
That's 6 or 1 minute too.
It is 5:58:52.
That's what I thought. So we still have 1 whole minute.
We did it.
I
Yeah,
could go,
exactly 1 minute.
I could go do something.
No, you couldn't.
I could.
You leave and come back at 3.
I never know when walking through a barn, what.
Yeah. I'm always amazed at how dusty and cobwebby. Amazing. "25 seconds, folks. 25 seconds. All right, it is 6 o'clock on the nose. Let's get started. Welcome everyone to the Lincolnville Select Board meeting. It is May 13th. Selectman Late is excused this evening and will be resting at home. Before we get going, Robin, would you care to read the quote?
Sure. If you have the ability, then you have the responsibility. Evan Carmichael.
Thank you very much. And I'd like to open the podium for any non-agenda items. Seeing none, let's move along to the administrator's report.
I don't have an awful lot to report, because the public facilities director is here to give you an update on a number of things that we all been working on, with the exception of absentee ballots are available now if somebody is not going to be in town on June 11th. Wishes to vote absentee, they can obtain those here at the town office or filling out a form online even. We've also, excuse me, I'm not sure where that came from. We've concluded our work correcting the errors or issues identified by the Department of Labor in the November inspection. The chief and I met with couple individuals from there not last week, the week before last, and regarding the penalty of which we had none of it waived or removed. So that is all on this week's warrant. And outside of that, I think I'll leave it all to Matt.
Sounds good. Any other questions for David? All right, seeing none, let's move along to upcoming meetings and announcements.
Jeez, going from bad to worse here. All meetings are at the town office unless announced otherwise. The Heart and Soul team is meeting tomorrow, Tuesday, May 14th at noon at the library. Cemetery trustees are scheduled to meet Wednesday, May 15th, 5:30. Comprehensive Plan Review Committee scheduled to meet Wednesday, May 15th, 6:30. There will be a special town meeting regarding the Lincolnville Central School budget on Thursday, May 16th, 6 p.m. at the Lincolnville Central School. The Select Board will be meeting with the Northport Select Board next Monday, May 20th, 6:15 at the Northport Town Office. The Lincolnville Town Office will be closed for Memorial Day observance on Monday, May 27th. And the Select Board meets next in regular session on Tuesday, May 28th, 6 p.m.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And upcoming community events, I see we've got.
We have one.
What is it, or one?
The Lincolnville Central School Parent-Teacher Organization is sponsoring a color fun run on Saturday, June 8th. Registration starts at 8, and I believe the run kicks off at 9 out through the wilderness, the cross-country trail, and people in the run, it's a fundraiser, they're asking people to raise at least, I think it's $20, where you're.
So we can pay them 20 to not run. Right?
I'm sure that they would take your money, whether you
That's a
win
good
or
approach
not.
also.
Calling you with,
All right, any other upcoming community events? Seeing none, let's move along. We have 2 sets of meeting minutes to approve, the first being the 18th of April.
Move the board approve the April 18th, 2024 meeting minutes as presented.
So moved and seconded, any discussion? Seeing nothing, all those in favor? Thank you very much. And we have this set of minutes from the 22nd of April.
Well, I move that the board approve the April 22nd, 2024 meeting minutes as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Thank you all very much. And we have 2 liquor license renewals, the first being Beachfront Incorporated, which is DBA McLaughlin's Lobster Shack. Pretty straightforward, or they were invited, I assume.
yeah, and I thought they would be here, but I'm not sure. They'll probably show up after.
Yeah, most likely. But it is a renewal, application looks in order, so I'll entertain a motion.
I move the board approve and sign a liquor license application submitted to Beachfront Inc. doing business as McLaughlin's Lobster Shack.
So moved?
Well, I have a question.
Let's see, do we want to
Say it to
second,
me.
do we want to second it?
Sure, I'll second it.
Okay, great, seconded, now
Yeah,
discussion.
that's my question.
Yes, yes.
The way I remember it, their previous location, they didn't have like spirits, right, mixed drinks, they only had, or maybe I'm misunderstanding what spirits are, but I was thinking that, did they just not use the entire breadth of what they could have done at the previous place? Or, you know, in the new location, it's bigger, and I was picturing that they may have a fuller bar, and I wasn't sure if that was technically a renewal, but I don't know what their existing one was. I had looked through this digitally, so maybe I missed it. There's an existing, do we just know that there's no change? I guess it's the roundabout question that I've got.
Yeah, I don't know that it is relevant or irrelevant to the renewal though, as long as they meet the standards that the state sets.
Okay.
Well, they applied specifically for a renewal and checked all 3 boxes I could go grab last year's and look if you want.
Yeah, but I mean, at least at our approval level, I'm not sure that that's.
Well, one would think that the applicant who's not here would want, it's gonna get flagged at the next level if it's not a renewal, if that makes any sense.
Right.
But
So,
I'm glad to go, I know where the folder is.
yeah, what's the board's pleasure?
I've got it started.
I don't either. If it's gonna be like you said flag at the next level.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm willing to go on.
Okay, all right. So if there's no further discussion, all those in favor? Thank you all very much. A question worth asking nonetheless. And our second liquor license renewal, West Bay Realty LLC, DBA, the Inn at Ocean's Edge. I assume they were also,
Yeah, he was pretty adamant that he was gonna be here. I was like, well, that's good.
Front door's not locked, right?
no,
Just,
no, it's wide open,
Okay.
yeah.
just make sure.
I think maybe folks bet on the fact that, I don't know,
Nice night.
what assumptions people make, but, in my memory, this is basically the same thing that we've seen before, year after year, so I have no issue with it, so.
I move that the board approve and sign a liquor license application submitted by West Bay Realty Inc., doing business as the Inn at Ocean's Edge.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded, discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Thank you very much. And moving rapidly along, the Historical Society, again, they were invited.
Yeah.
I just,
You all invited them last meeting to come back and
Yes.
try something, and maybe they don't think they have anything suitable, I don't know.
perhaps, yeah, and so, the Historical Society was here at our previous meeting, asking about,
Here's one.
asking about,
You're all done.
Really?
You got approved.
Oh,
Yeah, but you're welcome to stay.
you can sit through the meeting if you want to, but
okay. No, I'll probably go home.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you very much. Sorry I didn't be here. I thought it started at 6, but I guess it's not.
It did.
Did-
it did. It's not yet, we just,
We're just that good.
Yeah.
Yes, so.
Officially.
yeah, so get in touch with David and we'll,
It'll be available at the front tomorrow.
Okay.
All signed, ready to go.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Have a good evening.
okay, so back to the Historical Society, they had put in a request to include, specific language, derivative from the Penobscot Nation, for the name of Lincolnville, as they know it, and the board had asked for them to get confirmation or approval, from the Penobscot Nation, for an acknowledgement that this is in fact the language that they would want us to be using. And it sounds as though from the correspondence that we have received here in our packet that they haven't quite been successful, but they're making progress. And so I guess at this point, I'd love a consensus from the board. I mean, I feel like as a board, we should support this effort. I think it is done with good intentions, but again, that piece of doing it, if we're going to do it, it is worth doing well and worth doing respectfully. So I guess I'd like just sort of a consensus from the board that we're in agreement of that position.
I agree, if it takes another 2 weeks, another board meeting for them to get confirmation on correct pronunciation or spelling, so be it, you know? It doesn't coincide with the Farnsworth grand opening, but there you go.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Robin, were you able to?
I've read up on this,
Yep.
and I have a friend who's also a Penn Bay steward and was at the same meeting, and she didn't happen to know whether, she wasn't present for them to talk specifically about this, but she was thinking that they certainly made the connections that they would need up at that meeting, you know, so I imagine that
It should be forthcoming, yeah. So, I had an idea that rather than encumbering them with having to come to another select board meeting, seeing as how we're all in agreement with the sentiment and yet married to the process, that, actually, what I would like to do is I would like to move that in order to foster an awareness and recognition of an indigenous place, that the select board approve the request of the Lincolnville Historical Society to place a sign on the Welcome to Lincolnville Beach sign on Atlantic Highway indicating the Wabanaki and/or Penobscot name for the location, provided that suitable documentation of the word and the spelling from a reputable and knowledgeable source can be provided by the Historical Society to the town administrator. And that
This has gotta be the longest motion in history.
and then no such signage be installed without the concurrence of the town administrator.
Second.
Oh, shoot, I
Okay.
like
So moved and seconded, and so discussion, I guess the intention behind that is that they've come before the select board, they're here on the agenda again. It is clear that they are making every effort to follow through on that, and so rather than holding the whole process up, we empower David to be the arbiter, and hopefully that all goes well, and if not,
I was about ready to say, can we make a motion contingent on them getting the approval, so.
yeah, so,
That's what he
okay.
did, so.
So all those in favor? Thank you very much. And moving along, EMS update for Northeast Mobile Health Services.
Well, the biggest update was the board had requested that we communicate about being relieved for the responsibility of being part of the performance committee.
Right.
And heard back from Rick Petrie, who's the chief executive officer, and I put a little blurb what he wrote in your newsletter, that they'd be happy to come do quarterly reports, but they were hoping that we wouldn't necessarily abandon all hope of the performance committee actually meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Attended one, didn't basically know if they might do both.
So, real quickly, Dave, the oversight, first the oversight committee and the performance committee were one and the same?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's my understanding too that a representative had expressed that he would be here tonight to give us our quarterly update, but failed to provide any information in advance, and is.
Yeah, what I told them back 3 weeks ago was, if you want to come start giving quarterly updates at this board meeting, you're more than welcome to, but I'd like to have the data in hand by Wednesday noon, so we can distribute it, so you all can make.
Great. In 2 years, there's not even 50% of the meetings have been held.
Yeah,
So-
I stand by my
No,
position. It is not a functional or effective tool when both parties, when I say both parties, I will say Northeast Mobile Health and the towns participating, neither of them are meeting their end of the agreement. And so it's a waste of our time.
I would just add also, Lincolnville has had somebody ready to go to every single one.
Yeah.
It's- Yeah, I don't think any other town can say that, nor can Northeast.
Yeah, so, is it fair to just reiterate our position to Northeast and say we're no longer interested in having that as part of our contract?
Yeah.
But we would like to require them to come and give us the same quarterly reports.
I'll re-communicate what we communicated before, and just
Okay.
say, until that group becomes much more active or active.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, moving along. We have the Public Facilities Director here to give us updates, lots of updates.
Yes. Well, did you get a chance to look at the
Yes,
pictures? There's a lot of
Yes.
info, I know.
yeah, it's great, thank you.
I've got some bullets to just kind of capitalize on some of them.
Yep,
Please.
Okay, so, Penobscot Park, the stairs have been built, I gave you a couple pictures of the new stairs that get destroyed in the storm. By the end of the week, we need to backfill now that the carpenter's done and plant a little grass and just clean up down there. But we'll have all that done, the grass grown by the time I open the park up.
Real, on those stairs real
Yep.
quick, Matt, and you changed the rise on the stairs so that they're safer.
Absolutely, yes, yep, they're up to code,
Rise, run, whatever.
yep, rise and run.
Yes,
Rise and run,
Yep.
yeah,
Not the crazy things that were there before.
And we made a platform at the top,
yeah.
There's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
there
they're landing,
with
yeah.
Yeah, it looks
pillars,
great.
concrete pillars in the ground to secure it.
Yep.
Down to Breezemere Park, the grills that are there were falling over, I don't know if you noticed or not. We're working on new locations, so they might get used a little more, and leveling those up and resecuring those. Tomorrow, if it doesn't rain, if not Wednesday, the bandstand's gonna get new stairs. The pressure treated steps are pretty rotten. And the swim platform down there for the floats for the swim, it's falling off the rock. So that's on the agenda for this week. Beach fire station, we've stripped and reshingled one side of the roof. The side towards the beach, it's stripped. I don't know if I gave you a good picture, but there was an old chimney, a big old chimney and a copper vent for the sewer. That's where the water was coming through. So we've removed those. We're gonna put a new metal vestas chimney in there and go to PVC so we can use a booth and,
Okay.
you know, just upgrade it, upgrade those few fixtures through the roof. So that'll be shingled by the end of the week.
We did, you also, you might want to mention, took a sample of the
Yep.
insulation. We already have.
No,
that.
no, go ahead.
No.
So, when the sheetrock came through after the water damage, we didn't know what we had for insulation, so we sent the sample out and had it tested. There's no asbestos in the insulation anyway. That's as far as I went. I didn't like go looking around, but. So now we can safely clean that up. I'll get a sheetrocker in there to fix the ceiling and paint it out. If you haven't seen the beach, Kurt's doing an amazing job down there. We made a few changes. We now have access to the beach by the diagonal parking spots. It was not there before. Trying to keep people from stepping through our flower bed and on the wall. The used stones we already had. We have a brick walkway where everybody walked across the grass to get to the bathrooms. Now, same thing, kind of keep them off the grass. The old concrete stairs that were on the other side had shifted. We removed those today, and same, we had some really nice rocks that they were able to build a natural staircase with. So they're gonna drill holes, and then Larry Feldbrook's gonna go and make handrails, so we're back to safe like we were.
Great.
And the handrails will go right into the natural stone. We're pinning the wall this time, so all the granite is now drilled all the way through, pinned, epoxied, in hopes that it won't shift. Let's see here. So he's about 2 weeks from being done, is his projection as of today. And I met with Dave Petty today, he's a paver from Hope. He's ready the week after Kurt's done to repair where the benches go with fresh pavement, because we have to excavate that. And so that'll all be patched back in as part of the project. We're working with help me out, Dave, it's the conservation committee with the benches? Or no?
No.
LIA.
Sorry, there you go. So the benches are next door, we hauled the cannon back today. They're gonna help us refurbish those, so when they go back out, they look nice and
Great.
kind of complement all Kurt's work. The bathroom facility building is fully repaired, the handrails, the siding, the shingles. This time, we're gonna pin or secure the porta potties down, so if we get another storm, they don't thrash around in there and destroy it. We haven't 100% figured it out, but we have approval from Moore Septic to secure their units, so.
Great.
The pier, lots of work at the pier. All the inclines have been gone over, welds repaired. We have put new synthetic decking on them, new pressure treated for the slides, new hangers, new hardware. Both incline supports are installed. We have a little bit of paint touch up and grip tape on the skip float ramp. So just a little bit, but it's fully functioning now, it's safe. So we're just gonna button that up.
Great.
Where else are we at? We've got a winch motor. I talked to you a while ago. The electric winch motors are pretty exposed to the weather and they're expensive.
Mhm.
We've got one that's getting ready to go. So Mike Alley's ordered a new one. We're gonna install that in a weather-tight aluminum box this time, in the hopes that the spray and the next storm, at least that expensive motor stays dry.
Mhm.
So small change down there to try to prolong that. We still need to strap the deck, if you remember that project. So Dave and I were talking today, we might start seeing if we can find some grants. He's got an idea of a grant, maybe go down that avenue, we'll let you know, see if we can get some money. Right now, we're hoping to just get our money back for repairs. This is not a repair, so we're going a different avenue to try to get some money.
Great.
Any questions so far? There's a lot more. We've been putting in cross culverts. If you've been driving around town, there are a few bumps, a lot of ditching, a lot of tree work, normal stuff.
I mean, this is great. This is phenomenal. It's getting, you know, such a comprehensive, I love the spreadsheet. I love your ongoing notes that you've got in there, and then, you know, having the photos is great. Hopefully that, you know, folks also looking at our packet online, you know, can also see all the work that you're facilitating. It's great.
One question.
Yes.
The various culverts are being put in.
Yes.
What's the paving plan?
So Dave Petty, his first day that he's working for us is gonna be the beach, because I wanna get that before Memorial Day. And then he's immediately gonna get on Youngtown Road, Moody Mountain Road, we've got a small section of Slab City. So that'll be the first week of June, all of our paving will be done, the small paving.
Great.
Yep. Calderwood Lane, small delay, nothing bad, just getting everything in order. So I'm hoping by the next time I see you in 2 weeks, we'll at least have broken ground up there. That's kind of the plan.
It looked like Dig Safe was happening this week.
Yeah, Wednesday. So later this week.
Something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if we stick to the last plan, Tuesday, we're kind of getting going out there, some tree work, and
Awesome.
so I'll keep you updated on that. The only other thing I have is the harbor and moorings and bait boxes and pier usage, and I know it's kind of been something we've talked about in the past. Help me out.
We're getting organized so that we can reassign or assign and remove dead ones, excuse me,
Yep.
so that we've just been sucked into storm repair more than anything else.
Yep.
Getting back to
We-
the repair.
We really need to get the mooring balls that are being used labeled.
Yeah.
So then we can know which ones are used, are not, whose they are.
Yeah.
The ordinance clearly states that that's what should be done.
Yep.
If you've been down there, that is not what is done. So I think we're gonna come up with a game plan for the next select board meeting. I'm just updating you right now, but we're gonna actually have
Yep.
our vision moving forward and
How to
see.
make that happen, yeah.
Yeah, and really, I don't wanna see people paying, for a weightless mooring when we
Right.
could give them one and they're waiting for years.
Right,
So,
right, and knowing that there's dead spots and, yep,
so in 2 weeks, I'll be back, we'll have a better plan on that,
yeah,
as far as what we think we should do down there.
cool,
Um,
sounds great.
any questions?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see it on the list. What's going on with the sidewalk coming up from Norton's to the library?
Oh, for the,
Yeah, where are we with that?
The Veterans Park Committee of One has got the people to do the banking down behind.
Right, yeah,
Lined up for, my understanding is for immediately after Memorial Day.
okay.
And then our hope, dream, and aspiration is that we will, when we wrap up on all the remains, bring those people over to bathe.
Gotcha, thanks.
Done. With the DOT permit in hand, and
Very good, thank you.
that's today's plan, subject to change, sorry.
I don't, Breezemere, should I? Breezemere, no. Molly?
Oh yeah, I could have done that on an administrative report.
I'll let you go, I've talked enough.
Might
Our,
as well stay up there though.
yeah, don't go too far, because we're on next too. Our mower at Breezemere Park has informed me as of Thursday of last week that he's going to not be able to continue that
Yep.
this season. So we've worked with, Knights, who's doing the ball fields and here and the fire station and whatever else, to obtain a price to do Breezemere Park and the Veterans Park as well.
Okay.
And I think they mowed it once, right?
They did Friday,
Yeah.
they moved it for us.
That's great. Happy so far?
Very.
Good.
I've
Well,
only had one small complaint, and it wasn't their fault, the infields this past weekend. We told them to mow a certain height, it's too tall for the little kids, they can't hit the ball hard enough to roll. So I reached out, we've come up with a new measurement, and
gotcha.
they're great, they've been on time, and
Awesome.
yeah, they've been good.
That's great. And we're certainly grateful to Bob for his
Years.
long volunteerism. He deserves a break. Thanks. So is that, you're feeling good for your public facilities director update? Any other questions for Matt?
No.
All right, well then, putting a different hat on under emergency management, we've got all kinds of updates there. It's really exciting.
We have an updated plan.
Yes.
Did you have a chance to review it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any questions?
No.
There were no drastic changes, updating names and facilities and,
Yeah, it seems straightforward.
it's just getting us started out with me taking over. We're up to date right today, and
It's just nice having the support of other eyes on it and having it in your mind also. So hopefully when something doesn't happen,
right.
or does happen.
Well, at least somebody like Donnie would be able to do his job,
Yeah.
and I can worry about this stuff.
Yep,
And,
yep.
did anybody have any questions on it? Did anybody see anything that kinda,
I didn't have a question about the plan itself, but in action today with a
yeah,
3 acre or whatever it was, did some of this start to come to fruition of contacts and stuff that way?
no. It did not, I'm not gonna lie.
Yep.
I was so sidetracked with everything else today. Yeah, when I got back here, I didn't even realize what was going on down there, so, yeah.
A lot of this is, there's emergencies and then there's emergencies.
Yeah.
And how far up, if the fire had gotten larger, I mean, some of the same steps were enacted, I mean, the Forest Service was
Yeah,
there
right,
and
right.
whatnot. But we didn't activate the Emergency Operations Center because fortunately, the fire department was on it and had the help necessary to get it out.
Yeah, my only question, which I don't, maybe I missed it, but it's just sort of a bureaucratic splitting of hairs of process of, when and how, there's a lot of like the select board and the emergency management director will do this, that, and the other thing, or the person in charge will be this person, or this person, and just that mechanism before that, is there sort of an unwritten understanding that there's going to be a emergency select board meeting called to kind of start these balls rolling? or-
Yeah, I mean, actually, I believe by the plan, a select board member can activate the emergency operations center.
Right,
In all likelihood, this is going to feed up, so to speak, you know, if, just use the fire situation, if that had gotten to the point where it was burning houses and people were displaced, we would have brought in some additional resources, emergency operations, emergency management director, and we would have been activating with the county too at that level if we have displaced homeowners. And at that point, we're gonna kick in the emergency operations center and call you and say, hey, if you're available and you wanna come hang out at the fire station and
Yep.
give us all direction, we'll take it. Otherwise,
okay,
we're gonna continue on. And that might have been a poor example, because if it gets big enough, bad enough, quick enough, even we're not gonna, you know, we're gonna be following the Forest Service lead. Right. They don't take over something like that.
This is typically for larger, you know, like an ice storm like we had in the 90s or a major
a
flood.
hurricane or something like that.
But he's right, I mean, if that fire did continue on, and now we've got a forest fire, a real, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is, you can tell when you read it, it's a general plan, you can't get
Yeah.
into
Can't get in the weeds too much.
too much, but
Yep,
we have to check the number of boxes so that we have one too.
yep. And then the hazard mitigation plan status,
That's for me,
okay,
because at that time that got going, we didn't have the public facilities director being the EMA person. So we've had several meetings of the 9 towns that are participating in the hazard mitigation plan. The last meeting, they asked us to bring a list of what we saw as the most likely natural hazards and a very preliminary list of potential projects to include within the hazard mitigation plan. If a project we become aware of it after the plan is adopted, and there is a funding source, if it's not in the plan, you have no chance of getting funding. I took the liberty of creating a list of 15 different things, as big and as wide and kind of as general as I could come up with. And then after talking about it at the last meeting, they said, okay, now go back and talk to select boards, or if you've got an emergency management committee or whatever, to see what they all think about this. And
so here we are.
here we are.
Gotcha. And you had a question of whether or not any of us saw something that isn't on this list that should be.
Yeah, I mean, we've knocked off a number of places in the last 10 years that would have made this list. Townhouse Road, which we fix, 2 or 3 times a year because of flooding, and the accuracy of the drainage structure. Same thing with the one that was on Slab City Road, the outlet to Coleman Pond, and some other more inland drainage areas. But then, knowing me, I put everything on the list. We may never get any hazard mitigation funding for it, but like I said, if it's not on the list, we won't.
The only thing that I didn't see here on the list that isn't necessarily our property, but certainly relevant to our town property owners, taxpayers, are the dams on McGonagall. And I know we have virtually no control over them, but I'm just thinking if there's catastrophic, rain, biblical type rain, hurricanes, those kinds of things. Of course, that gets back to that committee that doesn't exist anymore, and the communication that doesn't exist anymore between.
But I can certainly check to see if those are on the Knox County hazard mitigation plan? or-
Yeah.
Yep,
Which brings up a good question about, is the dam at Pitcher Pond a
yes,
Yes.
potential hazard for
Sure.
us?
Right.
Obviously, if it
right,
let go, it would be.
Yeah.
Right. yeah, so those are the only things.
Yeah, it's
But it is definitely in line with general flooding, but, like inland flooding.
Yep.
And
And certainly, this isn't necessarily one and done. This process, I don't know how long we're gonna be working on it until they tell us we're done. But, I'm also certain that you will see a draft of that, but if something comes to mind between now and when you see the draft, or after you get the draft, it's not gonna be too late until we sign on the dotted line and say we're done.
Okay.
This is probably a good point to just point out that FEMA does have some has mitigation monies available to acquire flood-prone properties, but until you have a hazard mitigation plan,
you're not eligible.
you're not eligible.
Okay.
So, has you included it on the list of
Yes.
Yeah,
number 7?
Yep.
excellent.
Okay.
So back to the emergency operations plan. Any other questions for Matt on that? If not, I'll entertain a motion, please.
I move the board approve and sign the 2024 emergency operations plan, and then the plan be forwarded to the Waldo County Emergency Management Office.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Thank you very much. And Matt, thank you very much.
Great.
This is really nice, thanks.
And moving along, we have a municipal stream crossing grant agreement. David, do you want to speak to this briefly?
Sure. So Matt has something to do for construction next summer. We, the town, applied for a municipal stream crossing grant. We were notified back in February, and it was part of the packet, part of my announcement, that we were awarded a $200,000 grant for where Youngtown Road crosses over Howard Brook. We finally just received our grant offer or agreement, which is in your packet. I'm the authority to sign something like that because it binds the town to various and sundry things, and that's why it's on yours. The plan would be to issue a request for a proposal for engineering services later. We have to wait until the DOT signs the grant agreement, because any monies we expend prior, or anything we do prior, isn't eligible for reimbursement. Sign this, get it off to them, get it back from them. By that point, we should have a request available so we can advertise and get consultants to tell us what they'll do for us. Get that person or people on board hopefully later this summer. Get it designed fall, get it submitted for environmental permitting so we can get the permits, and then go to bid next winter so that we can hit the environmental window of, I think it's July 15th through September 15th or whatever, to be doing in-stream work. Our goal obviously would be to get it done before school opens up so that the buses don't get waiting.
Any questions for David?
Yeah, Dave, yeah, remind me, you told me before, what was the habitat that was key in this, that was?
Two things were key. The habitat was fish
Yeah, like,
or aquatic.
were they identified brook trout, or, it was some critter?
Yeah, some critter.
Yeah, okay.
And the other key component of that was the safety.
Right,
That crossing, if you ventured off the road by a foot, you'd be in it.
yeah.
And we left a tree there, or burned, I want to call it Vernon's tree. There's a tree that's dead, or pretty close. At one corner of that, as you're going from Youngtown in towards Beach Road, it's on that side of the road right before that crossing, and Vernon never wanted to take the tree down because it's a visual for people to kind of scoop the center a little bit, which is good, but man, if you meet somebody there, you
Yeah.
pay attention.
Okay.
You should always pay attention driving the car anyways.
So if there's no other questions, I'll entertain a motion, please.
I move that the town administrator sign on behalf of the town the municipal stream crossing program grant agreement with the Maine Department of Transportation.
So moved. Seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Thank you very much. And before acting on our 13th agenda item, I need a motion, please.
I move that we suspend our meeting as the select board and reconvene as the board of assessors.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Thank you very much. Good night. And David, would you care to give a synopsis?
Sure, so annually, the assessors are required to declare the ratio of sale prices to undeveloped parcel sale prices to what we have them assessed for. Our ratio is currently at 65%. It's been diminishing on an annual basis for a number of years. That's why we're commencing with a revaluation that will go into effect next year. It impacts our ability for providing homestead at the full rate and whatever else. And you're allowed as select board or as assessors, in your capacity as assessors, to certify anywhere between 59 and 72%, and the assessor's agent recommendation would be 72%. That gives people the biggest homestead possible.
Great. I'll entertain a motion, please.
I move that the Board of Assessors approve and sign the certified ration declaration form as prepared by the assessor's agent declaring a certified ratio of 72%.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing nothing, all those in favor? Thank you all very much.
Well, that's, I agree with it.
And before continuing on with our meeting, I need a formal motion, please.
I move that we adjourn our meeting as the Board of Assessors and reconvene as the Select Board.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Thank you all very much. And it's that time of year. So we have various things to consider between now and through town meeting and into the summer. David, you wanna?
Well, the first thing is
Yeah.
your first meeting in June is scheduled for the evening before Election Day.
Yes.
My understanding is that they're going to have 8th grade graduation next door that evening and in the gym, so they won't be able to set up the polling place until that is concluded. And my preference would be not to delay that any more than absolutely necessary. Plus, hopefully, we won't have any major policy decisions beyond signing a warrant, so my suggestion would be a warrant-only meeting for that.
Yeah, is everybody okay with that and starting a little bit earlier at 5?
Sure.
Okay, excellent, we'll go with that.
So we're changing the 10th to 5 o'clock?
Correct. And then, moving along, you can see our slate of either blocked off days with Memorial Day, our existing meetings, and our already standing workshops and or other obligations. But knowing that it really needs to be a priority to have a priority workshop, here's a slate of dates. I am inclined to suggest June 3rd and stack it with the Recreation Commission workshop. I think we could probably do both fairly efficiently without taking too much time.
Okay.
And what's everyone's thoughts on that?
Yeah, fine.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, and priority workshop.
Right.
And I'm thinking Recreation Commission first, have that chat, and then move into our priorities workshop.
My only comment, I don't think it affects us this year, but in future years, I'd recommend that priorities workshop happen in the first 3 months of the new term.
Agreed.
Makes sense.
Yeah, well, I would like to see two, frankly,
Yeah.
but yeah, that, establishing, say, an off Monday date that just, and maybe we can add that as an agenda item to our priorities workshop of just establishing those timeframes so that it doesn't end up getting lost in the miasma of.
It was the most valuable thing to me
I-
that first year.
Agreed, yeah, and I think it, whether you've been on the board for a long time or are new to the board, just having it all right there in front of you is just so worthwhile. Okay, so June 3rd.
My only suggestion is, the question, do we want to like rename it to the list? The list talk, because it's all about the list.
The list.
The list, right.
Anything else here, amongst these dates that looks problematic to anyone?
No.
Okay, excellent. Anything you wanna add, David?
Nope.
Okay. Moving along, Mike, do you have an update for us?
Oh, yeah, I just want to talk about a couple of things, I guess, in your, the letter, agenda.
Non-agenda items?
Thank you, the appendices there, one is in letter D, the nominations for the upcoming legislative policy committee for MMA
Yes,
is coming up.
yes.
And we should probably, I'd like to get that on the agenda for next week, because they had the deadline of June 12th to get that in, so if we want to make nominations and make a decision, we're gonna have to be able to do that at our next meeting.
Okay.
And the other thing is, there might be people who might be interested in a Zoom meeting that's happening tomorrow and Thursday, no, Wednesday and Thursday, just back to packet.
For MCOG.
Yeah, MCOG Clean Ports Program, because it has to do with harbor infrastructure.
Yep.
Monies. And we might be able to get some ideas coming from there for our harbor.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be on one of those Wednesdays, actually, Wednesday.
Does Matt know about that? Would that be something that he
He would benefit from it, but he's not in the room right now.
I'll,
We could ask David.
I'll chit chat with him about it tomorrow.
Okay.
How's that?
It's gonna be this, it's gonna be, Wednesday and Thursday repeated. Same
Yeah,
thing repeated.
Same thing with you.
Yeah, same
Yeah.
thing.
Of course. I know that this is sort of off topic, but who's planning on attending Thursday's special town meeting for the LCS budget?
I'll be there.
Unfortunately, I'll be in Atlanta.
Okay, but we'll have a quorum anyway, David, I
think that's anticipated.
Okay, I just meant to ask that earlier, not to jump on your announcement. Anything else, Mike?
Nothing for me.
Okay, Steve, do you have an update for us?
Do not.
Robin, do you have an update? And I do have an update. I attended the first meeting of the Mid-Coast Council of Governments Affordable Housing Committee meeting in Searsmont 2 weeks ago. And really fascinating demographic of individuals who have been appointed to attend. There is a lawyer, there is a couple realtors, there's a couple select board members, there's a couple interested citizens, and everyone has a wide and varied, sort of background, history, experience. And I'm feeling really encouraged and positive about the initial direction that's being taken, how it's being approached. The Mid-Coast 80 and Matt were both in attendance, and I think they've got some really great structure, so it sounds like it's going to be very productive.
Are they focused on business inventory right now, Waldo County?
That's part of it.
Okay.
Yeah, but yes, for sure. Yeah, there's sort of multi-level,
Okay.
and I'm sure we could get her slides available for you, all of you, if you're interested in reviewing them. It was sort of big picture overview of here's what we're looking at, here's what we're dealing with, and then we're gonna get into, you know, determining priorities, and then goals and objectives, and, you know, real tangible homework and that kind of thing. So, yeah, so it was really encouraging.
Yeah, that's good news, I'm glad it's going strong.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, there's definitely a challenge of herding the cats initially, but I think now that that flywheel's been kicked over, it's been good, yeah. Okay, so treasurer and payroll warrants, we need to approve and sign.
Move that the board approve and sign the treasurer's and payroll warrants.
Robert, you wanna get this one?
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Thank you very much. And if there's no other business the board wishes, yeah.
I probably should ask this earlier. One of the items in the back, the William Brewer,
Yes, the data breach.
right, was,
Yeah.
do we know what
What was that?
what town information they have? Do they have employee data, stuff like that?
I don't believe they have any employee data electronically. They may have scanned warrants and whatever, but,
They don't have HR type of data?
no,
Okay.
no.
Yep.
And, yeah, most of, all of what they have is, I say that, I'm fairly certain that all of what they have is all public record, so if somebody came in and said, I'd like a copy of your,
Perfect.
we go find it and whip it on the photocopier and go boom, and be done.
Excellent. Well, if there's no other business the board wishes to attend to, can I have a motion? Really? You all? Really? Everybody's
I'm waiting,
responsive?
I move that we adjourn.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I don't have to look that one
I'll
up.
second that one.
So moved,
Here,
seconded.
wait a minute.
Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor? Thank you all very much. We have to sign those liquor licenses.
You've got a lot of things to sign.